And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the always pressing PGA DFS podcast, previewing this week's PGA Tour action at the Palmetto Championship. That won't take long, so we'll get to that in a little bit here. But you can find me on Twitter at BDentric and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. Jesse, how we doing, man?
Doing good, man. What a weird week that was.
Ooh, very, very weird. It was a lot to talk about when I played in our little tournament on Sunday at the club down here. So, yeah, a lot of mixed opinions on Twitter and pretty much everywhere I had conversations. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, just odd. I was out of pocket for most of the weekend. I watched a lot of it Thursday, Friday, but then I played Saturday, Sunday, so I didn't really pay any attention. And, yeah, it was coming back and was just like getting back from an hour ride back from the golf course and saw these text messages coming through that, Rahm, last time I checked, everything, they were finished and he was up 6, and then everybody's like, nope, he's WDing because he's got COVID. It's a fucking weird story.
It's a very weird story because, contact tracing, so he's getting tested every day. Apparently he doesn't have the vaccine. That's why he's getting tested. If he had the vaccine, they wouldn't test him, but then he'd still have COVID. There's so many things I have questions on what's going on here. Like so many, because I'm thinking I'm watching
as well.
Like I'm watching Brooks Koepka's social media, and he's at the Mayweather fight Sunday night, but he's playing in South Carolina today. And, they're not following any protocols at all in Florida. So he just rolls in, and if he's got the shot, he's good. Like, no big deal. Is that how this goes?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. We really don't want to get into the the whole
thing. I don't care about that. I don't care about. I'm just trying to see if that's how they're navigating this. It's
I'm with you. It's confusing as hell. Like I'm to the point though. Like, it's time to start making some exceptions to some stuff here. I mean, you know what I mean? Because you know just as well as I do, if this was a year ago, Rahm was leading, he tests positive. Like all the guys around him who played with him were going to have to withdraw too, right? I mean,
that's what I literally said that to the guy I was playing with Sunday. Is the guy I told you about that's won the AT&T Pro-Am. Somehow I was paired up with him on Sunday. So we're sharing a golf cart the whole day. And we're talking about this thing. And he said some of his buddies were texting him and they're all confused because it's like, well, what about Xander? What about Cantlay? What about all these other dudes? Why are they going out?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck's this all about? Because you're right. A year ago, they're all gone. The whole thing's out. So
like for 2 weeks at least, probably a year ago. But I mean, maybe they've got the vaccine. Who knows? But either way, it was shitty for Rahm. Obviously, up 6, you're going to win that tournament because
he was running away with it.
13 under wins it. He's got to shoot 77 the next day, or whatever. Anyway, and then they tell him right on as he walks off 18 green too. I mean, that to me was also strange. Like, at least let the guy go in the back at the scorer's table where there's no cameras on him, and let's tell him there. I thought that was odd.
So you want to, it gets even like more odd. So not just the guys he's playing with, but let's just talk about, for instance, so they find out for some reason they test him after the end of round 2. Why don't you test him that morning before he finishes round 2? It's not like he's going to pick it up in 3 hours. So like that was weird. But then they find out mid round 3 that he has it, lets him keep playing to retest it.
Right.
They retest it. They find out, still finishes the round, and then they tell him. There's such a weird like progress here.
if he was good enough to finish the round, why is he not good enough to go back out the next day? Exactly. I mean, obviously the guys knew. Did you see his hole in one, like his video? And I think he was playing with Morikawa and I don't know who else, Scheffler maybe, and they wouldn't high five him. Like they were just like, yeah, man, you know what I mean? Like where normally they would be like hugging and fucking, whatever. But
it was weird.
Yeah.
Weird. That's the best way to say it. It's weird. It's like, I kind of see what they're doing, but the standards of practices, I guess, are very, very bizarre. I'd like to see kind of this whole thing. Just give me some uniformity on it. Give me some consistency on it. That's all I care about. It's bizarre.
One thing about it is unprecedented, right? We've never.
It is. Yeah, we're kind of rolling at the seat of our pants, as they say.
Still, a year later, year and 3 months later, or whatever. So,
but like you said, there's going to be a point that, and I've said it a long time ago, and some people still argue with me to this point. And I don't care if you want to get the vaccine or not. That's not the point of this question. But there's a point where once it's available to everybody, you just got to pull the Band-Aid off. And if people don't want to get it, you got to let everybody else live their life type thing. You can't like stop things. So in theory, if Rahm wants to not get the shot and he gets COVID, but wants to keep playing golf and the other guys are like good with it, then like, I don't know. I know it's hard because it's unprecedented, like you said. But
It's
there's a
weird.
point where you're just going to walk into some place and there's going to be like 5 people you don't know in this place that have it, and you're just going to keep living life. So like it's different because they knew he had it, obviously, but yeah, it's freaking bizarre, crazy bizarre,
very bizarre to me.
It sucks. 1.5 million gone.
Plus all the FedEx Cup points.
Yeah.
So like I was talking to somebody, it might end up costing him $12 million when it's all. You know what I mean?
One shot.
$10 million to first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one J&J shot or 2 of the others, and
I don't know. Like it could. Like he may have won this tournament and then been in a good position going into the playoffs and won that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I guess on the bright side to it, he's eligible to come back the Wednesday before the U.S. Open.
Yeah,
so he can still play in that. That's good. I don't want to see him not play that because he's too good. He deserves to be in that field, and that's the field that he needs. Like he definitely could win that damn thing. So he's got to play in that. It sucks. It's just like you said it, but you said it best. It's unprecedented. So we don't really know exactly how to handle every situation. It's never going to be the perfect way to handle every situation. This just seemed like it was so shittily done. Like,
what about
from all of it?
Well, I mean, you saw too. I'm sure most people, I'm sure, saw that most books refunded, at least the big ones, refunded bets,
or they paid them out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or paid them out, whatever. You know what I mean? Like so people got their money back, but not the dude who was leading the winning $250,000 on DraftKings.
Yeah, with
John Rahm. I don't know where he finished. I guess he finished maybe he finished 5th with Rahm as a WD. Yeah, he did. So it probably cost him $230,000.
Yeah, he would have won that easily. Like that, if Rahm, like you said, Rahm could have shot like 4 over par and won that damn thing or something.
I would be so tilted. I mean, can you imagine?
You built the nuts, and you got it taken away because of that. It's like it's hard enough to build the nuts, and then to have it taken away like that. Yeah. Oh man, that's like when you build it and it's actually worse. But the only thing I can compare it to is like you build it and your stud, like running back or receiver, leaves with a knee injury in the first quarter or something. You're just like, well, there goes that. Sweet, but
or you build it and you're like, I'm not going to play very much this week. I'm just going to kind of.
Oh, that happened to me this year. Yeah, I know all about that.
I didn't want to call you out.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I'm gonna take it easy this week.
Yeah, this is the one week.
Every free contest available on DraftKings.
Yeah,
won them all. Oh yeah,
you did win a lot of money for what you put in.
For like 10 cents. I won a ton of money, but God, we could have been. Yes, we could have been.
I feel you.
But we're here to talk PGA, and as you can tell, it was a wild weekend though, so it needed to be talked about. Cantlay got the W, didn't play great, but got the win, which is good. So he played good enough. Morikawa looked good. I kept thinking it all weekend. You know, Scotty Scheffler comes from miscut to almost winning the damn thing. That's what Scotty Scheffler does. That's why you just can't count him out. We kind of talked about it a little bit last week. When you know he's going to come in low own, that's when you play Scotty Scheffler because he has that ability to contend or win almost every week. He also has that ability to just completely eject on any week. So he's such a volatile player that he's difficult in cash, but in tournaments, man, he was virtually unknown last week. Yeah.
That was a terrible week for me. I'm ready to move on to this even worse week. Yeah,
I had 1 6 of 6. It basically wanted me a little more than break even on the week, but that's where that stood. Going for a fun one here, like you said, the Palmetto. Let's move on to the Palmetto. This is usually the RBC Canadian Open, but we haven't had that for the second straight year now because of COVID, and we can't go to Canada and all those fun things. So we have this special event, one time only, most likely, in South Carolina at the Kungry, I'm probably going to mispronounce it, Golf Club. There's no past event history, Jesse, so you have anything you want to say before I give the course preview?
I got nothing, man.
Sweet. So it's in South Carolina. Again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it, but Kungry Golf Club. It's a long one, par 71, 7,655 yards. It is a monstrous golf course. It opened in 2017, built by Tom Fazio. It was built by billionaires. It's all this donation money and rich philanthropists and blah blah. Basically, it's a billionaire club, is what it is. It's one of the top private clubs in the country. Golf Digest had it as the 39th best golf course out of the top 100 last year. A lot of similarities you'll see when it's built. It's got like a linksy feel to it. It'll remind you of the ocean course at the PGA Championship without the ocean part because it's pretty wide open, massive fairways. And then there's no rough. It goes into like those sand areas that you can hit out of, you can ground your club out of. Patrick Reed's favorite places. So that's what you have on pretty much every hole. Greens are elevated with like no rough there either. There's like no rough on the entire course. And so balls will slide off easily. You're not going to be able to just drop balls on there. You got to kind of run them up. Be very creative. So that's where you get your link style, your Texas style. Some even compare it to the Australian sand belt, which we saw like in the President's Cup, where if you remember that, a lot of just running through sand and doing different goofy stuff there. You got that going for you. Everything I read from different people that tested this course out in the last couple of years is the firmest and fastest course they've ever played. It's like, and they're talking about baking it out. So keep that in mind. At the same time, I'm also seeing there's chances of rain every day this week. So I don't know how baked out it's going to get. So that'll be something to monitor. The wind will obviously be important. There are more trees here than on the ocean course. It's like, they say it's like the Australian sand belt meets the backwoods. It's super wide. You got the sand, and then there's trees. They took out trees, relocated them in these areas and stuff. Overall, though, it's a long golf course, but could play shorter if it stays firm and fast. That's the difference. You have the 8th hole. It's a par 4, 540 yards. 3 of the par 4s are over 500 yards. You have a 520, a 540, and a 510. You also have a 490-yard par 4. The par 5 4th hole is 645 yards. The 3 par 5s are 580, 595, and 645. So bottom line is it better play firm and fast, or it's going to be a very long golf course. We'll have to see what the rain does, what the wind does. Bermuda greens, elevated greens, tricky as hell greens. Going to be an interesting week. That's all I can say, Jesse. So any thoughts?
I don't know exactly how it's going to play. I'm with you from what I've read. It's long, and if it does rain, it'll play really long, I think. But because obviously they make it long because it's going to play firm and fast. You get a lot of run out, whatever. If it's raining and you're not getting the same amount of run out, it's going to be really long. But one thing to remember about this week, obviously, we are recording this at 6:30 Eastern time, 3:30 Pacific on Monday night. We got a long way till Thursday when this thing starts. So we might say some stuff coming up here, and this guy might already be gone, might already be heading to California. The other thing about this, always this week in particular, is there's a chance that guys maybe play one round, maybe play a half a round, and head out. Just keep that in mind. There's a lot of WDs typically the week before the U.S. Open. Just saying.
You have lots of them. And as Jesse's kind of hinting at here, if you guys follow Rob Bolton on Twitter, he always tweets out the field changes as they come in and out, withdrawals and everything. There's already been 9 as of this recording, and that is ridiculous. Like, you see like 3 or 4 most weeks. There's been 9. And we joked about it because I tweeted it, and I guess Jesse was laughing because he was texting friends at the same time. Omar Uresti just got into the tournament. He is a PGA pro that we make fun of for making the PGA Championship.
He's a club pro.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we're at. Like, you're gonna see, there's a ton of Corn Ferry guys on this. There's some guys from the Collegiate Tour on this. Like, it's when you start getting down to the low 7s or the 6K range, there's some guys that you remember their name. There's a group of them. You're just like, what is going on right now?
Basically, when you get out of the 8Ks, it's like, what is this tournament?
Yeah, our boy Whaley, 7,700 this week. If that rings a bell to anybody, that's quite the price chalk. Right? Yeah, it's gonna be massive chalk. So we got all that going for us. This week is so weird because my normal site I look for my recent history doesn't even have it updated yet. The site I look for, Fancier Sports, doesn't have anything for this yet. So everyone's just like, they're kind of half toe in the water situation right now. Usually, we have a better sense of stuff the best we can. You'll see a lot more stuff available on websites and whatnot. But let's get into it. Let's do the DK stuff here, Jesse. 10K and above. DJ's 11-4. Brooks 11-1. Fitzpatrick's 10-4. Hatton is 10-2. What are you doing here?
What? There's only fucking 4 guys who are above 10K.
Yeah. Tells you everything.
The problem is it's not very comfortable to roster anybody below like about 7,500. Like, it starts getting really sketch below 7,500. So if you are playing one of these guys, keep that in mind. I think obviously DJ, I don't think he'd be here if this wasn't in South Carolina. I would think he's been around this place. Also, his form coming in is not great. Miscut, 48th, 13th, miscut. But I think he's very playable. I think he very much is. Brooks the same. As far as he's very playable. Finished second at the PGA Championship. I really think both these guys are just trying to work some shit out. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him miss the cut. I wouldn't be surprised to see either one of them win it. It's the kind of week that we got here. I don't think I'm gonna pay $10,400 for Fitzpatrick. Maybe if you are, I will. I'll tell you on that. And then Hatton at 10-2. He's okay. 3 straight made cuts. All in the top 40, but nothing spectacular in the last couple months for him. I mean, he finished 6th at the Saudi International way back in February, not playing like out of this world. But I mean, if you wanted to pay for him, I guess you could. I doubt I'll play anybody besides DJ in this range, assuming that I make more than one lineup, which I don't even know if I'm going to make more than one lineup this week.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, part of me wants to like max out the quarter just for fun, just to get goofy with it. And then just because there's so much volatility, like just let's max it out and see what happens.
I know what you mean, yeah.
And then there's part of me, it's like, nah, we're going to stick to 1 to 3 max. Just wait till next week.
Yeah.
So I'm so torn right now that I want to see where it goes. But like you mentioned, his top range here, DJ, I follow him and Paulino on social media, and he does not seem like he cares at all about golfing right now. Like he's jumping off of boats. He's throwing his kids around the swimming pool. It's good. Like I would be too. I don't blame him one bit. But at the same time, it's like, go get a few reps in here, fly to San Diego. Like that seems like the game plan. But like you said, I wouldn't be shocked if he wins the damn thing. I really wouldn't, because he's that good. I just don't know where his head doesn't seem like he's in golf mode, but he's also good enough to probably flick that switch pretty freaking easily too. So I won't be on DJ, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm going to go up here. It's to Brooks, just because I think he's got that ego after this whole Bryson thing. Like, he wants to go out and show guys that he can still kick everybody's ass. That's the only thing. Otherwise, what does he care? Like you said, there's just part of me that thinks if he starts off well, he's going for it. If he starts off a little rough, he's easily taking the 36-hole jet to frickin' San Diego. He's not going to like push to make the cut and then grind on the weekend. That's not happening. So that'll be one to watch with Brooks. You'll know really quickly if you're played Brooks if it was good or not. And then Hatton, like, no fits for me. Like Dom and I talked about it in the Slack chat over the weekend when he missed the cut. We're hoping he just has a horrible week here. We need him for low ownership next week. That's what we want. We want low owned fits next week in La Jolla. But Hatton would be the guy at 10-2. If I'm paying all the way up, it's Hatton. I don't plan on paying all the way up. I rarely pay all the way up. We talked about it many times. Last week, my best lineup had 4 9K guys and 2 6K guys, and it was freaking beautiful. So like, I just try to stay out of the 10K range the best I can, and we go from there. 9K range gets a little more interesting, I guess. You got English at 99, Sungjae at 97, Fleetwood 95, Poulter 92, Kizzires 91, and Higo's 9K. When I saw Higo at 9K, I thought Pat Mayo made the pricing, because he is like the captain of Team Higo.
Well, when I saw Kizzire there, I thought they fucked something up. Like,
there's a glitch in the matrix.
And then I started going through the rest of the list, and I was like, oh, this makes a little more sense now. Yeah.
So what do you like here?
Harris English, at 99. I think he's fine. 3 straight made cuts for him. Seems like he's kind of getting it back a little bit. He's a Georgia boy, so used to the kind of conditions, I would imagine. Don't mind him at 9,900. Poulter at 92. He's played really well as of late. Coming off the 3rd place finish at the Charles Schwab Challenge, before that 30th at the PGA Championship. And then, Higo, he from my model, like my model just absolutely loves him for whatever reason. I'm assuming it's because he played so well pretty much over the last month or 2 months, really, on the European Tour. He played 1 tournament over here as a PGA Championship, finished 64th, but won the Canary Islands Championship the week before that. So, but I mean, do I want to pay 9K for him? I think there's better options in the 8K range myself, but
yeah,
that model absolutely loves him. So,
yeah, I'm just assuming, because the Mayo love, he's going to be so chalky.
Oh, you're right. So Mayo's already on him.
Well, Mayo's on him every week. He talks about him every week on his show.
I got you.
Like, by European standards, and now he's all excited he's here. So I'd be shocked if he comes in low owned, but you never know. But I agree. There's like a couple of narratives you can look at here. You can play links specialist, which brings a lot of the Euro guys into play. You can go, the Georgia boys, because literally it's like a half hour from Savannah. So you're close to Georgia. Maybe there's a narrative there. Dom mentioned in the chat, like, Kisner's played this. Luke List had the course record as of a few months ago. And there's not a lot of guys that played it, but most of them are Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina Tech guys that have played this course. So English becomes interesting at 99. Like you said, playing a little better, probably familiar with the area. I could see him being in play at 99. That's worth a look there. But I think the idea of Tommy Fleetwood, I know he's not coming in great form, but we've seen him play well at either those fast U.S. Open type courses. We've seen him do that and put up some decent numbers there. We've also seen him play really well on links courses. So Fleets at 95 is interesting. I really like Poulter at 92, which is scary because he's 92, but that's the field we live in. So it is what it is. But I like him because you think 30th at the PGA Championship. If it's a comp course, that field is so much stronger now. That's actually a pretty good finish, all things considering what we're dealing with this week. So Poulter at 92, Fleets at 95. Kind of the two guys I'm circling in this 9K range at this point in time. 8K, you got Noren 89, Mitchell 88, Kiz 87, Glover 86, Varner 85, Sneds 84, Vegas 83, Knox 82, Pan 81, Stallings and Redmond both 8,000. It's starting to drop off quickly, Jesse.
Yeah.
What do you like here?
I mean, I'll play Noren at 89. He hasn't missed a cut since the Players back in March. So that's 1, 2, 3, 6 in a row for him. Coming off a 13th place finish last week. Seems to be playing really well. Could it be a Keith Mitchell week? Might be. Might not be. It's Keith Mitchell. You never know. So I think he's definitely GPP viable at that price. Sneds at 80, at 84, I will most definitely play as well. He's getting his old Sneds form back, I believe, at least closer to it than he was, even earlier this year. Hasn't missed a cut since the Players as well. Come off a 50th place finish at the Charles Schwab. And then, Vegas at 83. I feel like he's always GPP viable. He's, for what he is, I mean, he's played consistent golf, 4 straight made cuts for him, and really only has missed one since January of this year at the Farmers. I mean, he missed the Texas Open, and that was it since January. So I think Vegas is playable. And then Stallings at 8,000. He could be as well. 4 straight made cuts for him. Yeah, pretty good nasty for Scott Stallings. Yeah. I feel like Redmond will probably be popular in this range. I could see Varner getting some ownership. And then I would say Noren as well if I was guessing, just coming off that finish last week.
Yeah, I'd imagine Noren will get some steam just because he's playing so well, as you mentioned, but still I think a pretty good play. I think Kisner's interesting at 87. He's been playing so bad, but again, kind of a local guy. He knows this golf course. If it plays fast and firm, yes. If it doesn't, then no. Hell no. Because he does not have the distance to keep up with this course. But I think he could be intriguing because he's coming in just not playing great, so his ownership will be super low. And to me, when he's on, he's much better than this field, or at least most of this field. So I think Kiz 87 is interesting. Glover's going to be popular, but he's played very well at courses like this, at comp courses. He's playing pretty decent heading into this at 8,600. So he's intriguing, but he might be very, very popular. And then if the weather gets a little nasty, he played well last week, kind of fell off a little bit over the weekend, but Russell Knox 82 is an intriguing option for me as well. If it gets a little linksy style, a little windy and rainy, I think a guy like Russell Knox can stand out quite a bit in this field. And I don't mind the Vegas call. I'm always a good fan of Vegas in a tournament for sure. 75 to 79, you got List, RCB, Laird, Neesmith, Perez, Straka, Whaley, Sabatini, Poston, Martin, Villegas, Power, EVR, Lashley, and Hogue. And as Dominic says, it's the truth, Whaley, you mean. So we got that going. But what do you like in this fun range?
I don't know if I've ever really heard you say any of those names that you just read off there. I mean, obviously a few of them.
Usually I say 6K range. Who you got?
Right. You got exactly right. Yeah. It's weird. List has the course record here.
Yeah, that's what Dom put it in the Slack chat. Is he, as of like a month or two ago, he has the course record here.
It's interesting. I mean, definitely playable then at 7,900. RCB at 78. I mentioned him last week at 6,200.
I thought about that the whole time because you said, "Is RCB in play?" I said, "I'm not playing him," and he played very well.
So mad that I didn't play him. 2% owned. He finished 37th, so I think he's playable this week. Whaley, obviously, he's going to be a 1,000,000,000% owned. I feel like. Flat bill Pat Perez, $7,700. Is it a flat bill week? It's got to be. I mean, 7,700 for Pat Perez in this field. 4 straight made cuts for the man.
Yep.
He's made 7 of 8. I mean, Ben Martin, for some reason, I don't understand it. My model loves him. Now he has made 2 straight cuts, and he's made 5 of 6. So for what he is there, and the EVR at 7,500, I feel like he's kind of a bit of a steal. I know he's got 4 straight missed cuts, but for the price in this field, EVR 7,500, I like it.
Yeah, he's one I never can stomach in most fields, but like you said, in this field, I think he's got to be close. If not, he's got to be at least a top 50, top 60 golfer still, because he's played in the recent WGC, so he's close to that. And now he's 75 in this field. Like, really? It kind of stands out like a sore thumb. He is very tilting. He could eject on the first day. There's no questioning that, but he's got the talent to hang around. So I don't hate that at all. I had lists down here. I had RCB again. Marty Laird's playing some really good golf, all things considered. And if it does turn into a links fest, Laird at 78 could be good. I like Flat Bill at 77, Whaley. And then the only other guy I had here is Seamus Power. He's coming in some pretty good form, especially GPP type form. He's got a couple top 5s and a couple he's made like 4 straight cuts. But he's T9 at the Byron Nelson, T54 at Wells Fargo, T9 on the Corn Ferry, T54 at Punta Cana. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now at $7,500. But if he's striking the ball well enough to get a T9 at the Wells Fargo, that stands out as a guy that in this field that I should at least consider what's going on. I think Seamus at 75 is interesting. 7,000 to 7,400. Jesse, anybody you like here?
Man, Lipsky 7,400. The model likes him okay. He hasn't played that I have. Well, I don't even have him with a Euro Tour start since February. I don't know if he's been hurt or something.
He's been on the Corn Ferry of late. That's why you got it. I looked at on DK. He played last weekend. He's played like every week on the Corn Ferry since the PGA with the workday. He's been on the Corn Ferry. He must be trying to get the PGA card.
Well, yeah, I don't know about playing him then. Duffner, he's made 4 or 5 cuts, 2 in a row. 37th last week. He seems to be okay there at that price. I mean, I really don't want to go below 7,500, but I'm just naming some names off here. Hubbard at 7,000, 3 straight made cuts for him, coming off the 42nd place finish at the Memorial last week. So it's kind of where I'm at. But again, I'm trying not to go below 7,500.
Lipsky was on my list just because of his past Euro Tour success, but the Corn Ferry has been a shaky go for him these days. So we'll have to see how that goes. But, talking if you want to do the Georgia narrative, the guy that can maybe get hot with his approach game, hopefully putt a little bit. Rowinski at 74 is always a guy I kind of keep in mind. Stewart's playing really well. He's 7,100, but he might be qualifying for the Open. A lot of these guys.
He was leading after the first 18, wherever he was. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's playing great. Like a lot of the guys we kind of like this week, or at least fringy guys like this week, they're all qualifying right now. So keep an eye on all that as well. But Stewart's interesting. I like Hubbard just because in a tournament he can birdie like a madman. So if he has a couple bad holes, he might be able to make it up type thing. And then Kramer Hickok, he's a guy that can launch it. So if it does turn into a long course, he can spray it as well. But he's a guy that can bomb it quite a bit. He's 7K, has some massive tournament appeal in that price range. Honestly, Jesse, the 6K range, I'd almost play some guys down here before I'd play the guys in the $7,000 to $7,500 range, just because I'd rather get the savings type situation. Anybody that kind of stands out to you, I'm not going to say you like down here. Anybody that stands out to you down here?
Yeah, I got a few. 69, Lebiota, 3 straight made cuts for him at 69. I think that's worth a little bit there. Cole Hammer, he's I'm not 100% sure if he's turned pro or what his deal is.
I believe he's going back for one more year.
Is he? Okay. So he's just playing as an AM, I guess, in this field or whatever, because they just need
live bodies.
They just need warm bodies. $6,800. You just never know. I mean, he could. And then Zhang
we need to tell Kevin to make the drive from Charlotte down.
I mean, he might get in. He might get in. Zhang at 68 as well. He showed some. So he's missed like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight cuts leading up to the Byron Nelson and into the Byron Nelson. So then he makes a cut to Charles Schwab 73rd and Memorial 26th. There's a little bit of life there. Other than that, I mean, like Will Gordon, 6,700 potentially, maybe. I don't know. Compos, he seems to show up in just certain spots. Hostler, Ryder. I mean, Sam Ryder could be one. But he's missed 27 straight cuts. Appy Barnrat's in this field. He's missed 1,000 straight cuts. I mean, it's rough down here. Wes Roach, model likes him a little bit.
It's rough.
I'm done. I'm quit.
My buddy Johnny Huz down here, but he's missed 3 straight cuts, so that's disappointing. But I had Lebiota down. I think Robbie Shelton's interesting because he can go on a birdie fest from time to time. Honestly, JJ Spawn, I never play, but he's $6,600 and he's better than a lot of these guys. He really is. He was leading his qualifier right now, so that might end this whole thing. But 47th at Byron Nelson, 18th at Wells Fargo, miscut. Then he had the Punta Cana. But back-to-back made cuts at some pretty tough fields, at least the Wells Fargo, where he finished 18th. Spawn at 66 stands out as a potential GPP-type play. Bo Hostler, you mentioned him. He's not like lighting the world on fire, but he's making cuts. Or I was looking at his miscuts. He was missing on the number. His last couple of miscuts were on the number as well. So he could legitimately have like 5 straight made cuts. He only has 3 out of 5. But those other 2 were like pretty much on the number or pretty darn close, if I remember correctly. So he's a guy to keep in mind at 65. Gillick at 65 is another guy that I don't mind. He's been another kind of close to making it on the number type guy, but doesn't quite get there. Lucas Bjerregaard at 64. Don't forget he's the guy that dethroned Tiger in the WGC a couple years ago. And then honestly, if we just want to go for broke here, Jesse, just hear me out on this one. If we just want to go for broke. At $6,200, let me find him here so I can pull him up. There he is. Johnson Wagner at $6,200. The Wags miscut at the Korn Ferry Tour, but then T39 at the Byron Nelson, T58 at Wells Fargo, T39 at his Korn Ferry Tour prior to that. So 3 out of 4 made cuts, 2 straight on the PGA Tour. I'm grasping at straws, but he's $6,200, like bare minimum. So if you want to pay up, throw some Wags in your life. At least he's going to have a cool mustache and like an old school Budweiser hat. You know, something to watch, be intriguing for you. Like that's how bad it is, people. Like we're kind of making light of it, but it's bad, really bad.
Yeah.
So recapping things, Jesse, 10K and above. Who's your one guy?
DJ.
I'll go Brooks. 9K. Who's your one guy?
I'm gonna say English.
I'll go Poulter. 8K. Who's your one?
Noren.
I'll go with give me Knox. I'll go Knox. 75 to 79.
Wales Goat.
Wales Goat. Wales Goat. That's good. That's good. I'm going to go. Oh, man, this is so bad. I'm going to go RCB. 7K to 74.
Oh, that was a question?
Yeah. Who's the one guy if you had to play him?
Duffner?
I'll go Brian Stewart. Okay. If he's still in the field by Thursday.
That's the thing.
And then 6K range if you had to play one.
I'm gonna say Lebiota.
Yeah, I like Lebs. I'll take Spawn. It's bad, folks. Stay in the good world. Don't play cash this week. I'm not gonna ask a question. Don't play cash. Just don't do it.
I was gonna say we're not endorsing anybody.
No. GPP range though, if you had to start it out, who's 3 guys you'd use?
I mean, Vegas, I think, is very GPP viable at 83 there. Flat bill, Pat Perez, 7,700. And then Luke List, probably be in that range as well, 79. So there's 3 right there in the same range. Leaves you 87. You can do up, down.
I'll do Fleetwood, Poulter, and List. I'll start there and hope I don't have to go too deep too often. But I know I'll have to go at least one deep play. But that seems like a boomer bust type idea. All the fun here, Jesse. Who you got winning this thing? The people of Palmetto.
It's a great question. It's quite the world when Ben Martin is 66 to 1.
Whaley's 80 to 1 now.
I mean, List at 80.
Yeah, of course, right.
Maybe Perez 80. I wouldn't really be taking.
It's a long shot week.
100%. Like if you're going to put money down on just if you normally play $10, take 10 long shots because who knows. But Yeah, like your boy Hickok, 150 to 1.
That's an interesting one. I don't
Yeah.
hate it. I don't hate it. It all depends. Like, I'd watch the weather. That'll help you decide if you want a bomber or you want some guy that can actually play good around the greens, because you're gonna have to have a good around the green game regardless. But you gotta be able to get it there too.
McGirt's 1,000 to 1.
Oh, Jesus. Dirt McGirt, 1,000 to 1. That is something else.
1,000?
DA points.
I don't know that I've ever seen 1,000 to 1 odds. I mean, and I'm normally not down here, so I could be 100% wrong about that. Is Smiley Kaufman in this field?
Yep, he is. He's 750 to 1. He is in this field. He's like a low 6K guy. Your boy Teets is in this field.
How is Smiley Kaufman not 2,000 to 1 if William McGirt is 1,000 to 1?
This is fun.
I cannot believe that.
Yeah. We've hit the Smiley Kaufman portion of the show.
Wow.
Dominic Walton, Dom says,
low.
Ben Martin, South Carolina guy, and I think he played at Clemson. Well, there you go. Didn't you say Ben Martin checked your boxes there on your deal?
Yep. At least the old model likes it. Yeah.
Dominic also says Davis Thompson and John Pack. Thompson was an SEC Player of the Year, making his pro debut, and Pack was #1 college golfer. And Pack played at the U.S. Open last year, and he made the cut. I think he finished like 51st. So he's another guy if you're feeling frisky. I was actually looking at Pack earlier. So Dom's always got the goods, and he's always bringing it in the Slack chat. So if you want to, this might be the week to join, because when there's a million withdrawals, so half of our picks don't even matter after this podcast, you might want to be in the Slack chat. So something to think about there. But we're going to wrap it up there. Dom, thanks for chiming in as usual.
Yep.
Check out the podcast. Check out the podcast on Twitter at AlwaysPressDFS. Give it a rate and review on iTunes. We'd appreciate it. We have real golf next week, the U.S. Open. That'll be a freaking barn burner. So looking forward to that.
Yep.
Check out Jesse on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. I'm at BD Hendrick, and we will catch you guys next time.